Melbourne. Hard to find two sides on more different trajectories at the moment. Melbourne Victory taking on the Western Sydney Wanderers. The home side, who were struggling just over a month ago, are now coming into this match on the back of 4 consecutive wins. And given the unpredictable nature of the league this season and the fact that anyone really can beat anyone, if they were to make it 5 wins on the bounce, Melbourne Victory would move provisionally second on the ladder this evening against a Wanderers side who are rock bottom, their worst ever start to an A-League season, winless in their last 5. But as Melbourne Victory have proven, not in the far distant past, you can still turn things around with one good result, and that is certainly what Alan Stajic and fans of the Western Sydney Wanderers will be hoping for this afternoon. No better place, no better rival to turn things around than against Melbourne Victory at Amy Park either. Our two sides on the Isuzu UTE tunnel cam making their way out onto the field of play. The turnaround for Victory has been immense. 11 goals scored in their last 4 matches. That's after scoring just 4 in their first 7. Well, the Western Sydney Wanderers are still caught in that trough at the moment. The worst attack in the land, 8 goals in their 11 matches so far. They've failed to score in 4 of their last 5. Let's see how they line up. 2 changes for Arthur Dillis's Melbourne Victory, and a big one between the posts. Jack Duncan is out with concussion, so former Central Coast Mariner Jack Wachorski comes in for his Melbourne Victory debut, but also his A-League debut. Adama Traore is also in for Roderick Miranda as Jason Davidson continues at centre-back as Lockie Jackson cools his heels on the bench still. Jordi Valadon is away with the under-23s. That means in midfield, Denny Jonro partners Louis Dorigo behind Juan Mata, and then that front 3 that is firing on all cylinders at the moment. Santos and Valupale either side of the league's top scorer, Nikos Virgos. Important to note, Reno Piscopo back on the bench for the first time this season as well. 2 changes also for Alan Stagic's Western Sydney Wanderers. Alex Gersbach making his 50th A-League appearance returns at left back as Alex Bonatic has left the club. So has Gabriel Kleur and Mo Alte as well. Jared Carluccio continues at right back, so Anthony Pantazopoulos is in the centre of defence. The midfield is unchanged, while up front Costa Barbarouses comes in alongside Alu Kuol as Brandon Borello moves into that wide role, that problematic right midfield, in the absence of Aidan Hammond, who is also at the under-23s. Well, they are perfect conditions. It's been pretty miserable in Victoria the last few days with intense heat and bushfires across the state. We send our thoughts to all those affected, but this afternoon for Arthur Dillis and his side, pretty good conditions for football. Arthur Dillis, who incidentally has just overtaken Ange Postecoglou for the most number of matches coached at Melbourne Victory. He's in 4th place in the all-time list, and there is his opposite number, Alan Stajic, who, according to his press conferences so far this season, is a big fan of Mr. Arthur Dillis. Daniel Elder is our referee this afternoon. He's being assisted by Adam Powers and Astro Sakalis. Running the lines, Jack Morgan is the 4th official. While in the VAR room, Tim Danaskos and Lara Lee. Massive game coming up between these two sides. Melbourne Victory for so long rooted near the bottom of the table, struggling to score goals. They've shown Western Sydney that it can be done. The question is, are Western Sydney keeping the faith internally? We have seen a couple of players leaving disgruntled in the last couple of days. There is the setting, Amy Park, for this one. Outstanding football stadium in Melbourne. The countdown is on. Well, on paper, this one looks rather one-sided between an in-form Melbourne Victory and a Western Sydney Wanderers rooted to the bottom of the table. But Eric Partaloo, as we've seen so far this season, there's no better time than the present to turn things around.
Yeah, good afternoon, Robbie. Get the popcorn ready. This is going to be a very entertaining game to watch, and the elimination final last year was the last time these two sides met, and that ended with plenty of spice, and a certain Mr. Juan Mata only coming off the bench in a knockout game. Very different season with a different squad, of course, but you'd have to feel that he would have left there with maybe a little tinge or a bad taste in his mouth. But in football, home is where the minutes are given, and Melbourne Victory have finally been able to give him that chance, and we can see the World Cup winner in all his glory here.
A goal and 4 assists already. As we heard in the pre-game show, he's played more this season in terms of minutes than he did in all of the last campaign. His first in the A-League with the Western Sydney Wanderers. Alex Gersbach looks long. Kraev towards Borrello. We were wondering whether it would be Borrello or Barbarouses in midfield. It looks, at least at kickoff, that it's Costa Barbarouses in that right midfield role, but it will most certainly be an attacking one under Alan Stajic.
They've got to go forward quickly. I think when the Wanderers start well and they're getting good touches, early touches, and it's shown as well on the scoreboard, when they score first, they don't go and lose the game. So you can expect them to be flexible tactically in that front three. Barbarouses, Qual, Borrello, Kraev, they're the big players that need to stand up today.
First foul of the afternoon goes against Božidar Kraev, who's been one of the culprits in terms of not converting chances. One of the victims, if you like, as Alan Stajic puts it, for in terms of hitting the woodwork. They're into double figures that already hit the woodwork so many times this campaign. And perhaps if they'd gone in, we'd be talking about different records than the one of perhaps losing 4 in a row this evening for the first time since 2019. It's been that kind of season so far for the Wanderers. Statistically, at least, although we do know that that doesn't count as much as the scores at the end of games, but they're certainly in matches. Jonro, that's a good ball for Santos, the Brazilian. First time cross, bouncing ball, not the easiest, and it's overhit.
Well, they're just hoping for that ball to settle down. It looks a little bit sticky out there, not a lot of water and a bit of wind in the air this afternoon. That's what's caused that little pass to not go through at pace. But a good start, Jonro. It's good to see him play alongside Juan Mata in that midfield. I think all Melbourne Victory fans have been waiting for that to spark, and I think tonight with Dorigo behind those two, it's going to be exciting.
Jordi Valadon away, like Josh Rawlins for Melbourne Victory, and a couple of Western Sydney Wanderers in Hammond and Simmons away with the under-23s at the Asian Cup. Davidson played in the centre of defence last season in Greece, so has been playing left-back so far this campaign until the injury to Roderick Miranda last weekend. Dorigo, that's a strong challenge on Kraev. He's inherited the captain's armband as well, Jason Davidson. Kraev again for Borrello. He's a busy, industrious forward. Some nice skill there as well before just losing his footing. Davidson under pressure. And Serra keeps it in. Looks up the line for Virgos. Being watched by Panazopoulos. Mata knocked off the ball by Brillante.
Really good pressure from the Western Sydney Wanderers, not taking a backward step. And you can come to expect that all night from Angus Thurgate. Brillante stepping forward, trying to get into Virgos early on physically as well.
Here's Gersbach with that header. He played 31 times for Sydney FC. Alex Gersbach has now made 19 appearances for the crosstown rivals. In between that, a number of years in Scandinavia and France as well, plying his trade before a stint at the MLS as well. That's where his now ex-teammate Alex Bonnetti has gone. And according to the rumours, a very nice sum of money in return for the Western Sydney Wanderers for their fullback.
Yeah, I wonder how much of a difficult conversation or decision that would have been, because it was, if it's what to be reported, it's a great sum of money for the club. Now, how do they use that? And they've still got to think about this game today. It's not about waiting for the window to open and to get reinforcements. It's got to happen today for the team, for the squad, for the whole club.
Well, Carluccio was knocked off the ball there, and that's a badly overhit pass from Denny Genro. There was something on there for the Wanderers. Kraev looks up the line, and that's curled out of play before coming back in. Louis Dorigo will take the throw. In fact, he'll leave it now for Josh Insera. Does set the tone in midfield, Dorigo, in terms of aggression. He is the tackler in there alongside the artists, if you like, in Genro and Mata. There is Genro looking for the Spaniard. Gets it back. A little 1-2-3 out to Adama Traore. Santos. Santos still going. Just over. Hit that. Clatters into Angus Thurgate. It was a spicy little challenge to open proceedings as well. Inside the opening 7 minutes. Sebastian Esposito back outside with Dorigo. That right knee still heavily strapped. Traore back again. Victory have scored 8 goals in their last 2 games, including a first ever hat-trick in the A-League for Nikos Virgos. Here's Dorigo. Being given plenty of respect there by the Wanderers, and they perhaps could have done more with it, Victory.
That formation, I think, Robbie, 4-4-2, it's apparent that Melbourne Victory have got a lot of space out wide. When they win the ball, they've got Santos waiting out. They've got Volupele on the other side as well.
Genro's little 1-2 with Volupele. Mata. That's a good challenge to get the better of Kraev. Now Santos opens up as Traore comes back inside. Esposito back again with Davidson. He straightens things up. Oh, great touch from Virgos for Mata, looking to get it back. Now Josh Insera. Early cross. Cleared by Carluccio. Oh, and not the best communication there between the two Victory centre-backs. They get away with it. Toniek. Oh, that's a lovely touch. Great pressure coming from both sides at the moment. Neither team able really to put their foot on the ball. It's given away by Brillante. Genro for Santos. Victory looking to exert some early pressure here. Santos still. Genro picks up and takes over. Denny Genro. Dorigo appeals for a free kick. 25 metres out directly in front. Play continues. Here's Mata. Looking back post, but that's too close to Lawrence Thomas.
We'll get used to seeing that this evening. Juan Mata moving between the lines and asking for the football. If it's not through the middle, it's out wide. There's a few heavy challenges going in as well. But Dorigo pulling the strings, just keeping the ball and the game moving. And the Wanderers almost had everybody back there as well, trying to defend.
Daniel Elder came across to Denny Genro while he was still on the ground and just explained that he left the advantage in that situation, which is why there was no free kick. That's a great touch from Carluccio, receiving from Barbarouses and giving it back now. Barbarouses, the ball for Qual, just too high. Insera, one for Volupele, well marshalled out by Gersbach. He wanted to take it quickly down there in front of the Melbourne Victory faithful, behind the goal at the northern end. They make plenty of noise. behind there, but their team are doing the defending at the moment. The long throw from Panasopoulos. Esposito with an excellent header. Mata back with Valupale. Is he fouled there? Yes, by Anthony Panasopoulos. Back in the centre of defence this afternoon.
Yeah, it's a shift for Panasopoulos, and one that I'm sure he can handle. Just worried for Melbourne Victory trying to maybe play out or overplay out there inside their own box, and lucky that Valupale was aware of it. But it's been a good start from Melbourne Victory, already dictating terms, already trying to get this crowd behind them. They want to see some Marta magic, and so do we.
Third touch of the ball in A-League football for Jack Wachowski. Goalkeeper looks long. Played 3 matches in Asia for the Central Coast Mariners. Oh, there's a high boot there from Davidson. Now, what colour's the card? It's a yellow. He's caught Brandon Borello in the midriff. The Wanderers players came from everywhere, because we've seen red cards already this season in the A-League for high boots finding the midriff of players.
Well, he's starting with the yellow card. And is there a possible upgrade? It looked as though both were going for the ball. Not sure where the contact's made. That'll be the most important thing.
Yeah, it looked more a glancing blow, and I think it is on the arm, as Borello seems to be indicating. Would have hurt. The studs across the arm. He doesn't have to leave. Let's have a look here.
He's just so quick to get to the ball as well, yeah. Brandon Borello, but you're right, Robbie, right on the studs on the arm. And just the yellow card for Davidson. And it is a different role. Again, we saw him play 74, 75 minutes there last week. And Traore stepping into left back, and he's not played more than 75 minutes for about 11 months. So it's a new role, a new backline, if you like, for Melbourne Victory as well.
That's also the 5th yellow card of the season for Jason Davidson. So he will be suspended next game, which is the original rivalry match in Adelaide. So that's a big one for him to be missing. And a couple of selection headaches at the back as well for Arthur Dillis.
Well, he's got Lockie Jackson sitting there on the bench, Robbie, just wondering why he wasn't given the opportunity tonight. I'm sure Davidson is a quality central defender, but maybe he's fallen out of favour a little bit as well with Arthur Dillis.
Valupale's touch a little too obvious. Gersbach does well. Valupale has it back again, though. Esposito with Davidson. And Sarah again. For the moment, Victory trying to switch it up. They were going down the left early. They're bringing in Sarah into the game down this right-hand side as well. Valupale, first time ball for Virgos. It's well worked. Oh, the return ball a little bit heavy. He's kept it in only just. No, he hasn't. Well, looked like he had. Not according to the referee's assistant on this near side.
Yeah, the fans aren't happy as well. You can hear them. The key ingredient there for Nishan Valupale is playing forward first time and going and supporting. He's really good at doing that. Just couldn't get the ball to stick, and well, I'm sure the official had a better view than that, but it certainly didn't look like it from here. We're going to see better from this angle. Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm not sure that did, Robbie.
Thurgate. Oh, he just stepped on the ball. It got caught under him. It does look a little heavy, or rather sticky, as you said. The ball not flowing and skidding around underfoot. Mata, he's given that straight to Costa Barbarouses. First time ball for Qual. He might yet get there, Alu Qual. It just wouldn't sit for him. He was caught in two minds. Esposito got the ball away. That was almost an assist for his old team there from Juan Mata to the Western Sydney Wanderers. Just a goal and 3 assists in 23 appearances for the Western Sydney Wanderers last season for Juan Mata, as Panasopoulos gives that one away.
You could see what he's trying to do, just hooking it around the corner first time. He's going to be very, very closely marked. And Qual just couldn't get it to sit down, and he couldn't get himself settled and balanced. And that's part of the problem up top for Western Sydney Wanderers. It's about getting balance in front of goal.
We've got Jake Barker-Daish on the sidelines for us this afternoon. Jake, how is it down there?
It's beautiful conditions. The crowd is definitely here to see a one-mata derby, as we know. Just wanted to talk about Western Sydney Wanderers, a very similar position to what Melbourne Victory were quite a few months ago, which, Robbie, I might give back to you here.
Here's Kraev on the edge of the box. He's forced back. We'll get back to you in a second, Jake. Well, you can try again.
Just liking him back to Melbourne Victory, where they were struggling to get goals and find their best team, their best rhythm, formation, and having the likes of Brandon Barello and Costa Barbarouses back is really going to help them. You just feel today they're playing a 4-3-3. No one's out of position. They've got the best players on their field. And although they are bottom of the ladder, they have been playing very well. They just need to convert in that front third. And as Tommy Orr referred to in the pre-game, they are a better team than where they are on the ladder.
Here's Thurgate now, down to the byline. Ball in. Barbarouses was there lurking. Barello back in. Esposito only as far as Brillante, who lets fly. The former Melbourne Victory man, Josh Brillante, in the middle of the park for the Wanderers.
He knows this ground, and wouldn't he like to get on the score sheet? Hasn't scored for a couple of seasons as well. Josh Brillante just couldn't really get it to sit down. And there's good pressure on the ball from Melbourne Victory.
Brillante, Barbarouses, and the goalkeeper, Lawrence Thomas. All of them former Melbourne Victory men. Costa Barbarouses currently sits 4th on the all-time scoring charts for Melbourne Victory, just behind a certain Danny Allsop. Archie Thompson may be able to fill us in on the other couple of players in that list. Here's Tonic. Carluccio through the legs of Santos. Nicely done. He's had a couple of really nice touches, Carluccio, and that one he just gave it straight to Denny Genreau. Referee has given a handball. Denny Genreau, I think, was asking for a free kick from having his ankles clipped.
Well, every single time the Wanderers win the ball back, they haven't had somebody making a forward run. And if you're watching the way Melbourne Victory are building up here, maybe it's because they're playing a different formation, but they have width. And that's something the Wanderers don't have. They're very much through the middle. And that first pass forward, they win it, it's going central where the numbers are.
Here's Traore with Mata. That is Costa Barbarouses playing that right midfield role, but given that he is a striker, he will be getting forward. He has to be watchful though. Santos is a real threat. Oh, and Louis Dorigo overhitting that one under pressure from Thurgate.
We just see from Juan Mata's reaction, he wanted that pass from that right-hand side from Insera. He wants the ball to his feet, and that's part of the process for Juan Mata and the side. It's about learning how to play with his teammates, but also for them understanding when to feed him. And it's not every single time. You've got to find him in the right key moments, otherwise he cannot operate as well.
Traore with the throw. Genreau still going. Was there a hand there from Genreau? His ball over the top. Again, he has words in the ear of Elder. Western Sydney Wanderers, we have spoken about how it's been such a difficult start to the campaign, how things just aren't falling their way. They are the only side without an away win in the league so far this season. And at the moment, this is not the easiest place to come. Trying to break that duck. Genreau and Valupale. That's good from Kraev and Thurgate. And Esposito does well. Here's Mata. Back within Sarah. Good intensity in the press from Wanderers. The question is, do they have the quality to keep it going? It's been the odd little mistake which has proved so costly as well this season. Santos. Traore back. Davidson. Now here's Denis Genreau again. Esposito. They try and keep the ball moving quickly. Insera comes inside. Mata being very closely watched by Josh Brillante. Velupale can't keep it in again.
Well, there's a good movement going out there from Melbourne Victory, but it doesn't always translate into getting into the final third. You can see Juan Mata going wide, Genreau dropping deep into a backline position. The Wanderers are very stagnant. They're all staying in their positions, and that can work to their advantage, but the movement hasn't been quick enough on the ball. There's options there, but they're closed down really quickly.
And there was a great example of that. Now Dorigo goes back with a good challenge. Alu Kuol. What's the referee decide? It goes Esposito's way. Melbourne Victory with more of the ball at the moment. It's been a fairly cagey opening 20 minutes here at Amy Park. Panazopoulos with Tonic all the way back to Lawrence Thomas. Played his 200th A-League match last time out. 51 clean sheets. Goes back, does well. Kraev. Esposito crossing cover.
Well, Gersbach did so well there under immense pressure just to control that and flick it down the line for Kraev, but they've been closely monitored, and we've seen this picture time and time again from the Western Sydney Wanderers, getting into these areas, and it's Panazopoulos with the long throw. How long before we see this pay off again for them? They happened, and it worked in the derby for them.
There's a good amount of travelling support from the Wanderers. The volume will be greater coming from the northern stand. Panazopoulos, long throw, but you will hear those Wanderers fans, particularly if they can get something here. Davidson's header, Thurgate there as well. Gersbach closing down. Panazopoulos back into the mix. Kuol is there. Kuol, that's well won in the air. On the turn, Kraev trying to get the shot away. Brillante more hopeful than anything. And in the end, Victory will settle things right down.
Some really desperate defending there from Melbourne Victory. And the key is not to let that ball bounce. You can see that middle part of the game, as you would expect today. Lots of key battles going on. And it's just gone a little bit quiet. I think the fans are expecting Melbourne Victory to possibly be in front at this stage, or at least be dictating terms, but the Wanderers have made a bit of a comeback of their own in the last 5 minutes or so.
Melbourne Victory have won all 4 of the games in which they've opened the scoring, but 4 out of 11 is not much. The Wanderers, they've only opened the scoring 3 times and have conceded the opening goal 7 times. That's more than any other side this season. It's not easy when you're always chasing games as well. And there is the confidence that gets you, but there's the moral fatigue of always chasing matches, of never being in front, of just not winning at the moment, which you can see is really taking its toll with this Wanderers side. Gabriel Cleur left the club last week. Mo Alte came out saying it was his boyhood club, the one he's always supported, but there are things going on behind the scenes which mean it's impossible for him to stay, or at least he feels it's impossible for him to stay, so he's left the club as well. Alex Bonatig has been sold to the Portland Timbers. And a big transfer that we mentioned, the rumours suggesting that could be very close to $3 million in the transfer fee for him. They do have experience there. Lawrence Thomas at the back, Gersbach, Kraev, Brillante, Thurgate, Ugarkovic on the bench as Mata drives the ball in. The initial header from Santos and then the follow-up from Denny Jonro into the stands.
Yeah, it was quite aggressive, that from Jonro. And more than a hit and hope for Melbourne Victory. They've slowed down in that ball retention, and it's a good opportunity for the Wanderers now to slow it down themselves. And I think you're right. Once you're down the bottom, though, Robbie, nothing seems to go your way. But coming to a place like Melbourne Victory, who's been scoring goals for fun, maybe in a regular season, a draw wouldn't be a bad result. But they're no longer 1 or 2 results away from that top 6. They're like 2 or 3 wins to get themselves in that position, and they've only won 2 the whole season.
When you think that's 5 without a win now, but when they beat the Mariners 3-2 and won the Sydney Derby by 1-0 via Alo Qual, you felt perhaps then they had turned the corner. Oh, Santos misses that one. It could have been a good opportunity for pressure there. Barbarouses, the former Victory man, gets the boos. 4th all-time in the scorers charts, 4th in terms of appearances as well. 5 seasons over 2 spells.
Yeah, he's got 19 goals at Amy Park as well. He loves scoring here. He knows that he's not scored since round 5, so it's a little bit of a goal drought with a week off injured as well. But I think this is going to be the game for him to get back into the goals.
And he got that double against the Mariners. And he thought perhaps things were starting to click into gear. Panazopoulos again with the long throw. Qual. Borello brings it down. Now, is there a hand there? Player's gone down. Referee says penalty. He had a good long look at it, waiting to see what would happen. It's Santos, the Brazilian, who's claiming that there was not much he could do about it. It clearly hit the hands.
Well, it's Brandon Borello getting involved, and it looked as though Santos, I'm not sure why he's gone down like a sack of potatoes afterwards, maybe just trying to show the referee that it hit him in the face. I'm not sure from that angle, but it certainly strikes the arm.
I wonder if it was chest first. Perhaps we need to see it from behind the goal to get a better angle, but Brandon Borello, he got his first goal of the season from the penalty spot in that 3-2 loss to Adelaide, but it's going to be Costa Barbarouses to step up here. VAR are having a look, and Jack Wachowski, well, he famously doesn't have fond memories of penalty shootouts. His one and only Australia Cup match was a 3-3 draw with Sydney FC at Cogra, where he ended up missing his penalty as Andrew Redmayne scored. The penalty has been awarded. Costa Barbarouses to step up, looking for his 4th of the season against his former club. Barbarouses rolls it down the middle. No lack of confidence there from the Kiwi international. Cool as you like. And Western Sydney have the lead at Amy Park.
Well, it doesn't matter the year, the club, the situation. Costa Barbarouses will find the back of the net, provided he will score. Goal number 20 at Amy Park for the Kiwi international. On the Harvey Norman replay, the handball from Santos, the long throw coming in handy yet again for Western Sydney Wanderers, and it wasn't the most convincing penalty. I'm not sure he was looking to lift this one, Costa Barbarouses, but it does the job. It goes right across the line, and if there's somebody that's going to drag them out of this mess, it just had to be the veteran striker.
And the celebrations in front of the former faithful didn't go down well with Jason Davidson, who himself famously went and spent a couple of matches behind the goal there with the active support Well, this has put the cat amongst the pigeons early in this one. Western Sydney Wanderers, rock bottom, without a win in their last 5. Lost their last 3 in a row. Now lead the informed side in the competition. And they didn't really need to create too much. A penalty for handball. But sometimes, when you're just trying to turn a season around, you'll take it any way it comes.
And now this is a great position for the Western Sydney Wanderers, because the way that they play and set up, they can be hard to beat now. And yes, 1 goal may not be enough, but they are that team that if they get in front, they know how to protect a lead.
Carluccio under pressure from Santos. Oh, Traore's collected. Barbarouses there. Referees going into the book. And it's yellow for Adama Traore.
And that was late on Costa Barbarouses, who just got there in front of him. He was going for the ball, of course. Traore stepping out into that zone. I'd love to see Costa Barbarouses now go at Adama Traore on that yellow card, and just to get a little bit more width in the side for the Wanderers.
We have seen so many upsets in the last couple of weeks. It has been more than just a silly season. It has been absolutely ridiculous. Bottom clubs beating top. Auckland finally managed up against Brisbane last night to extend their lead at the top of the standings. And given the way the results are going, it could be a lead that they could really build something on. Because now Victory, who could yet move second, of course, if they manage to turn this one around. But are they starting to feel the curse of, if you're above in the table, you're almost destined to lose at the moment?
And I don't think it's ever going to settle down. Usually at the half, it needs to improve, and long may it continue for the neutral, because it just tosses up these, you know, situations, and particularly for Victory now, that have been going well for a couple of weeks. What have they got in them now?
The touch from Burgos for Mata. No way past Rontonic. Goes back, telling Kraev just to settle things down. Goes back inside with Barbarouses. Costa Barbarouses, by the way, that 4th goal of the season. He is still the only Western Sydney Wanderer to have scored more than once in this campaign. Just their 9th goal of the season.
Well, I'm not sure that'll worry Alan Stajic tonight if they walk away with 3 points. But you're right, I think long-term, medium-term, who's going to support Costa in those situations? And it was a penalty after all. I'd love to see Brandon Borrello get a bit more involved on the scoring front.
It's their 3rd penalty of the season as well, so they join the Central Coast Mariners in that department, as the sides to have benefited from the most penalties this season at 3. Thurgate across to Traore. Genre. Oh, it just took too long, but it falls to Burgos. Now Valupale, one of the danger men. They need to get him on the ball. Tries to curl it with the left foot, and it wasn't too far away.
Nishan Valupale is loading. He's been loading for a couple of weeks. And we've seen some special goals already this round from players coming in on the left foot and just trying to curl it past Lawrence Thomas in goals. He's got the quality. If you're given that sort of space, it's going to be a lot of trouble, particularly for Alex Gersbach. He's got to get out there a little bit quicker.
Rocky Brook was one of those players, wasn't he, last night? One of those curling shots in off the far post.
It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
His 5th of the season. Sam Cosgrove with his 5th. Nikos Virgos has 5 as well. Barry Sawyer, Nifani Eze, Lockie Rose, Max Caputo. There's a real traffic jam at the top. But no one's running away with that either. Normally after 11 games, you know, we've had in the past a Bruno Fornaroli who's sitting on 8 or 9, a Jamie McLaren who was often on 12 or 13 by this stage of a season. Bruno Fornaroli famously scored 4 goals in this fixture a couple of years ago. Had a couple of 4-3s recently between these two sides. Here's Santos again, looks up, crosses towards Valupile, Panasopoulos with the header away. Kraev. Well, Barello never looked like making that run.
No, and that's what's going to be the option for Western City, is to find somebody up top with pace to get out. And they've got 10 minutes to get to half-time, but then you're looking at the next 45 minutes plus. And that avenue can be a little bit more consistent.
Well, it was just a week ago, Melbourne Victory were trailing by a goal to nil against Perth. Louis Dorigo equalising in first half stoppage time. It helped them turn the game around. They find themselves in a similar situation again.
Santos with a little piece of skill there to get away from a little Kuala New. He slipped over again, but Melbourne Victory, they can go second tonight. That's the motivation for them as they work this ball out here.
Here's Santos again. Seen more of it than Valupile at the moment. That's a good ball. Genre for Valupile. Shot blocked by Panasopoulos again. Already showing his worth to this Wanderers side back in the centre of defence. Mata coming short. Mata again. Through the legs of Kwon for Genre. Back to Juan Mata. Well, that was better. We're still waiting for the first real flourish from the Spanish genius this afternoon. We almost had it there. Meanwhile, at the other end, Barello. Oh, well, how frustrating. He was just preparing for the overlapping run from Carluccio and he gave the ball away.
Yeah, he knows. He knows. But a great opportunity for Barello there. You could just see Barbarouses dropping in and playing as that number 10 role as well at times, which is really starting the attacks from a different mind, if you like. Costa's got a great idea of where other strikers want the ball. He wants that ball into space to run onto, and Kuol and Barello and Kraev have got to make more of those runs, because I think the Wanderers could score like that tonight.
Tonic with Carluccio. Relante. Managed to find a little bit of space through the press there, but forced to go long. That's well played, Josh Insera. Oh, Valupile's turn to go without the ball. Panasopoulos didn't need a second invitation. Warshawski. Genro's glancing header. Well played between the two little midfielders, Genro and Mata. Now Santos. Barbarouses herring back. Adama Traore now turns inside Carluccio. Mata on that left foot, cross in. Had real pace on it, that ball. That's another good header from Kraev, and a great first touch from Barello. Needs support though. Kraev is making his way now. Barello. And just not the urgency getting forward from the Wanderers to make anything more of that, and in the end, that's another wasted opportunity.
Yeah, it's twice for Brandon Barello. He did the right thing there, waiting for support, but that's what they've been built on this year, is sitting in that formation. Warshawski deals with that back pass, and they haven't got players up front to support the ball carrier.
Good pressure from Carluccio on Santos. They are making life very difficult for Melbourne Victory at the moment. Western Sydney, but I said again, we've seen it so many times. this season where they've been in matches. The penalty was a great opportunity for them to establish a lead here, to have something to defend. Oh, Mata, he's given that away again. Insera over the top, good ball, Valupale. Insera's overlapping run. Here's Mata with Genro. Mata goes again, Denny Genro. Can he find the pass? Oh, Insera just put his foot on the brakes, he'll still get there. It's just not clicking at the moment for victory, but they do have a corner.
It's good play from Insera. He's the one trying to get out on this right-hand side, trying to support the movement just off the ball through Genro. Mata, he wants that return inside the box. You can see him waiting for it. And they get numbers forward, but just that last pass, it's got to be crisper.
Mata's ball in is a good one towards Burgos. On the volley from Santos, the follow-up side netting from the captain, Jason Davidson. It's another chance gone begging for Melbourne victory.
Well. Set pieces. And where did that strike? Alu Kuol there. It was really, really close, but Jason Davidson again, he's done that a few times this season, getting forward at the far posts.
Well, it's been a pretty tense opening 42 minutes here at Amy Park. Panazopoulos goes long. Esposito straight back. Tonic with Carluccio. Brillante. Barbarousis. Victory's press doing the job. And they have it back. Now what can they do with it? 3 minutes to go. Probably a minute or two extra for the penalty and that little injury to Brandon Borrello perhaps, but there won't be too much out of time. Mata for Insera again. Panazopoulos coming across.
Gee, he's good in that position. Stepping out and recognising when he has to go and play another position. That's not easy from the centre of defence. Usually you go and stay in that position, but he's got great awareness.
Here's Davidson again. Traore, first time cross. It's a high, floated, lofted ball. In the end, comfortable enough for Lawrence Thomas.
And they're the ones, when you're playing against a side away from home, 1-0 before half-time, you go and claim it like that. It looks as though victory are out of ideas. It gives you a lot of confidence.
There's been a lot of football over the last few weeks. How cool was that from Anthony Panazopoulos? That's the kind of coolness and swagger as well that gives the whole team confidence. Thurgate, look at the space they've managed to open up here. They've played their way through the press. Carluccio back for Thurgate. Good football, Wanderers. The cross in. Horsharsky makes the claim. Traore, that's a very cheap giveaway. Won't impress Arthur Dillis too much. Thurgate again with Borrello. Good use of the body, Barbarousis.
He's definitely playing more central this evening. Costa Barbarousis looking for that ball, getting himself in positions to ask for the ball.
Here is Kraev. It's when the fullbacks get high. There's that rotation. We see Božidar Kraev do similarly when Alex Gilsback gets forward. Mata forced to come very, very deep. Borrello fighting for everything. Mata has been caught. Free kick. The 7th foul committed by the Western Sydney Wanderers in this first half. 2 minutes of stoppage time. And the switch is a pretty good one for Adama Traore. He'll need support though. Finds it in the form of Clarice Mario Santos. Traore again. Velupale. Davidson. Dorigo wants it. Does he fancy an effort from distance? Well, he did, but he took too long.
Well, it's well done from Alu Kual, getting back and helping out, making sure the number 6 option for Melbourne Victory doesn't have that shot. And I think if you're a Wanderers fan, you're pretty happy going into half-time with that 1-0 lead. Yes, maybe haven't created a lot of chances, but the 4th time that they've scored that first goal, Robbie, and they haven't lost from that position yet.
It's almost a little bit like an unfamiliar position for them to be in, certainly this season. Barbarouses tries it. That's a disappointing effort from a long way out in the end from Costa Barbarouses, but he's got his tail up. That penalty will have done his confidence and morale the world of good, as well as all his teammates. 30 seconds left. Here's their time for Melbourne Victory to create something else here. Genro back within Sarah. Mata able to turn. Just forgotten about there momentarily. The ball in. Well, that's what he can create, Juan Mata. It's like he just disappeared for a moment from the view of the Western Sydney defenders and almost created something for Nikos Virgos. It's not to be, though. Not in the first half anyway. The Western Sydney Wanderers, bottom of the table, travelling to Amy Park against a red-hot Melbourne Victory. Well, so far, at least, they've turned the tables. Looking for that first away win of the season. They lead at Amy Park, courtesy of Costa Barbarouses' 29th minute penalty. And they're in front at the break over Melbourne Victory by 1-0. Well, we will head off to a quick break from Amy Park, and Tara in the studio with the boys. We'll be back for the halftime show. Don't go anywhere.
You Australia's safest driver, all Aussie drivers 18 years and over, who've taken the Amy driving test out for your chance to win big prizes. All the QR code for your chance to win. For full terms and conditions, see amy.com.au/Amy driving test.
With a free thinking lender like Liberty on your team, you can score goals. Now you're not.
Kyra Cooney crossed into deadlock shot and she finds it! When you unite together for that one goal in the 90 minutes, it's something special.
That is special! Huge moment for the Matildas.
The only place to see the Combank Matildas and every game of the AFC Asian Cup is on Paramount Plus.
Say hello to the Ninja Slushie, the easy, convenient way to make frozen drinks at home. No ice means no watered down drinks. No blending means smooth, perfect texture. Just pour, slush, and enjoy. 5 one-touch programs for any drink you want. Choice for almost anything. Enjoy perfect results every time. You can make it with the Ninja Slushie. With the Isuzu MUX SUV, everyday life doesn't have to be every day at all. Love how you live in the Isuzu MUX.
Welcome back to Amy Park. No changes for either side at the start of the second half, where the Western Sydney Wanderers are leading Melbourne Victory by 1-0, courtesy of Costa Barbarouses' 29th minute penalty. His 4th goal of the season. Costa Barbarouses, of course, a former darling of the Victory faithful. 41 goals in 127 A-League appearances in navy blue, and now in red and black. It is the Wanderers, that unfamiliar position of leading away from home at half-time this season. It's been a tough campaign. Perhaps they can start to turn things around. Eric Pardeloup have certainly made a good fist of that opening 45 minutes, and they won't have a better opportunity than they have now to finish the job.
Yep, 1-0 up, half done the job, and it was a little bit quiet there for some of the Melbourne Victory players. And talk about quality over quantity. Well, there's some quality there from Alu Kual. Needed more from him, but yeah, Juan Mata had created the most chances in the competition and had really only played 8 passes in that final third. So I feel that there's a little bit more to come from Juan Mata, and let's not forget, this is the first time in a long time he's played a lot of football.
It's a good ball from Borrello, who's looking for Alu Kual. Brillante with Barbarouses. Kraev, now did he put the studs in there? He did. Traore's down. It's going to be the 3rd yellow card of the contest. And Božidar Kraev into the book less than 2 minutes into the second half.
Well, you just see the studs raised there from Kraev, and any day of the week now when you've got the studs raised and you get it wrong, as he did there, you're going to go into the book.
Esposito back to the A-League debutant, Jack Wachowski, this afternoon for Melbourne Victory. Jack Duncan, the regular #1, missing with concussion. Santos, that's a great touch for Mata, whose return ball is asking a lot of Santos too much. And it's another, just not quite 100% on from Juan Mata this afternoon.
Special defending, though, from the Western Sydney Wanderers. They got caught out of position. Not sure what Panazopoulos was doing, but in the end, Tongic had to go all the way through and make sure he got that one correctly. It looks like the surface has been wet at half-time. It looks a little bit quicker.
Corner for Victory. Louis Dorigo's ball in, and comfortable enough for Lawrence Thomas. Wants to release quickly. He's looking for the option, and he just didn't have the options, not the urgency sprinting forward. Melbourne Victory were able to put the brakes on. Now Carluccio in that right back position, looks long towards Borrello. Western Sydney bench not happy with that decision that went against Brandon Borrello. Everyone jumping, everyone missed it. The ball bounced back out. Anyway, Mata, another ball over the top for Santos. He reached that one. Brillante with Carluccio again. It's another one for Borrello to chase, who clearly did get a little bit of a cut or something on that arm from those studs from Davidson in the first half that saw the Victory skipper into the book. So he's got a big bandage on his right forearm. Jonro with Traore. Jonro not happy with Thurgate, who's claiming he got a couple of studs from Traore moments before that. There are a few nervy players out there at the moment. Here's Mata taking over, looking for an option. Valupale into the area, went past Brillante, and it's Thurgate again who's everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, he has to be. Juan Mata's moving, and he's finding all the right passes at the right times for Melbourne Victory. And Valupale coming all the way across to get involved and doubling up on that left-hand side.
Mata again, it's cut out. Barello. Oh, he's done well. Carluccio, first time ball for Qual. Esposito, coolly done. Jonro keeps it alive. Santos settles things. It's being played at frenetic pace in these opening 5 minutes of the second half. Victory trying to carve out an equaliser. Davidson again. So often he looks for Juan Mata, that first pass. Traore. That's a good ball. Virgos. Mata now. Outside Santos. They've gotten into these positions enough times. And it's finding the finish in the middle that's deserted them so far. Velupile turns to face up. Velupile, it's a good run into the area. Velupile. And it's out for a goal kick. He couldn't beat Lawrence Thomas, but that was better. He wants a corner. He's wondering how it can't be a corner.
That was really good movement from Nishan Velupile. That's why when he went and doubled up in the middle, it gave Panazopoulos and Tonic a real problem. And it looked as though Brilliante did a brilliant job getting back and just took a touch on the way out. That probably should have been a corner.
Yeah, good replay there showing that it came off Josh Brilliante on the way through. That'll be now a Wanderers throw in Victory territory. Arthur Dillis contesting every decision on the sidelines. He's a little calmer now, a little more comfortable in that position than he was 6 weeks ago when Victory had set a new club record for minutes without a goal. And we're really struggling at the wrong end of the table. It's a little bit how Alan Stajic must feel now, just waiting for that tide to turn. Perhaps today is the day. Barello, bustling Barello, still going. It's a great run. Barello, oh, and then the shot when he had other options.
Well, he's been really good at that this evening, getting involved in all those little first wins and second wins and third, and continuing to move on. He had Alu Qual there to help him out, who only made just 4 passes in the first half. They've got to try and involve him a little bit more.
Good ball over the top for Santos. Nice touch as well. The cutback. Oh, in between Velupile and Mata. Now Kraev only had Qual ahead of him and plenty of navy shirts as well. Goes back. Is not too concerned and puts it into the same territory, only to give it straight back again to Victory. Dorigo now. Traore with Santos. Dorigo. Now Davidson. His early cross towards Virgos. He is good in the air. Virgos, they've scored 3 headers so far this season. Only Sydney FC have scored more from corners than Melbourne Victory.
Here's that previous opportunity, that touch from Santos, and just needed somebody on the edge of the box. Dorigo has scored from a similar position. I was expecting him to step in there.
Mata's delivery. Alu Qual, thumping header out of the back. Mata again, lovely control. Denny Jonro looking to sneak in behind the defence. It's another corner. Mata ready to take it quickly as well. Western Sydney have to be alert. Mata's ball back post this time. Lawrence Thomas tips it behind. It's going to be another corner from this near side.
Strong goalkeeping. Well, that could have gone anywhere. We've seen this week as well far post headers in the A-League, not having a goalkeeper or a backline take responsibility, but the Wanderers have done really well there.
Ojidar Kraev coming across to do the marking of Juan Mata on the edge of the area. I thought for a moment it was going to be another player left completely unmarked. Esposito with Barello. A real scrum of players in that 6-yard box. It goes back post. Mata is there! Off the line by Panasopoulos. Goodness me. That was almost a miraculous goal from Juan Mata.
Well, that's what's going to take this evening to breach that back line for the Wanderers. Melbourne Victory want more.
And they come again. That cross, not of the same quality, but there's Dorigo on the half volley.
Wow. 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 Juan Mata just peeled away, and look at the technique just to control it. And it looked as though that Panasopoulos knew that was going in. He's here, there and everywhere, Anthony Panasopoulos, for the Western Sydney Wanderers. They get away with that one.
Well, he has been attracting the compliments so far this season, Juan Mata. We are seeing what it means to have a World Cup winner playing in the A-League with that quality. So far, his 2 goals in the A-League, because he got 1 last year for Western Sydney against MacArthur, 1 this year against Perth Glory for Melbourne Victory. Some of his assists have been sumptuous, but we're waiting for that superb goal. Oh, as Quoll goes down a little too easily. Thurgate. We almost had it. That really would have been something special. Gersbach's cross is turned behind, down in front of those travelling supporters who are right behind their team.
Well, he might have hurt himself here just with the fall, with the landing there. Alu Quoll is in some discomfort, but just got a little touch past Esposito, and he puts his hands up straight away as he felt as though Alu Quoll was going down. Then Davidson just steps onto his hand. That's a sore one, but Thurgate again. He's always there. He's always there to support his teammates.
That did look a painful one. It always hurts when someone steps on a hand. Let's use this little break in play, because there's a corner coming for Western Sydney, to go back down to Jake Barkadesh on the sidelines. Jake.
Well, Robbie and Eric, we might have a potential A-League first of how a player has been signed to a club, and I'm referencing Charles Nduka, the new Melbourne Victory striker, who has been signed from a Japanese 3rd division team. Now, we're aware of the affiliation with Brighton Hove Albion in the Premier League with Melbourne Victory, who are renowned for signing all players and coaches from a technology platform. Would you believe it? It's called Jamestown Analytics, and it's a predictive modelling platform, and its purpose is to find undervalued players. Very similar for the baseball fans out there to the Moneyball film, which is data-driven decision-making. I was told he did some fitness testing yesterday. His numbers were through the roof. So I guess the question remains, Robbie and Eric, will it translate into goals in the A-League for Melbourne Victory?
The question is, what does Adam Griffiths make of it at Perth Glory?
Well, I'll reserve my judgment until we see him on the park, and that's all that matters, really. It's great to see that we're heading that direction and getting further advanced with technology, but can he put it in the back of the net?
And it is being used more and more around the world. Denis Genreau actually went to Toulouse Football Club, or one of those data-driven clubs, and that's how Denis Genreau, as well as being Parisian born and speaking the lingo, got that gig in France as well. Looking for players that fit bills, that are compiling data. That ball near post, the header away from Insera. Wanderers have it straight back again. Carluccio, huge up and under. Nicely done, Traore. Oh, and a little bit like a hot potato at the moment.
I know Panasopoulos has got a great free kick on him, and he can kick the ball, but at times I just love to see him go in the box. He went all the way across there to take the corner. It's obviously a special set-piece routine, but just get that guy in the box for the Wanderers. He's an absolute animal.
Great touch from Mata under pressure. Here he is again. Dorigo caught in possession by Quoll. Brandon Borello, he'll have a lot to do here, Brandon Borello. Can he do it all on his own? He's made it down to the penalty box. Here's Barbarouses. Thurgate, now they have perhaps something on here. Gersbach comes inside, Gersbach. Can't keep the shot down, leaning back. and no threat in the end at all.
That had everything in that attack from Western Sydney Wanderers, and you were crying out for somebody to support Brandon Borello, and it finally came. That's such a tough role when you've got to burst away with the ball and dribble at 2 or 3 players and try and wait for support that just doesn't come. Alu Kual did well to get back and help, and that's why there was nobody in front of Brandon Borello.
Well won, and again Carluccio making a good fist of that right back position. He played under Alan Stajic at Perth as well. Genre with Santos. Dorigo. Insera. Velupale. Excellent defending from Božidar Krajev. And he gets the free kick.
That's what it's going to take. It's going to take a lot more of this heart and spirit and fight for the Wanderers to keep this 1-0 lead, to keep Melbourne Victory at bay.
Tonic. Brillante. Oh, they've got to be careful. There's no passes. Mata was lurking. Now again with Dorigo. Insera. Dorigo again. Esposito going looking for the ball. Davidson. Traore. Now Insera, invited forward by that pass. Good pace on it. Here's Velupale. The cutback, dealt with by Thurgate. Victory on top in this second half, but Western Sydney with those transitions, trying to break forward. That's the real danger for Melbourne Victory as they look for an equaliser. Genre taking on Carluccio. Barbarouses there to help out. Still Denny Genre going. He's done well. Mata looks up. Oh, he's mishit the cross. It's sliced off the laces. Krajev again. Holding off Josh Insera. Borello. You can see even some of those transitions there. They're one out. Nobody wants to overcommit because they don't want to get caught out at the other end, the Wanderers.
That's how you control the game as well. You're watching Brillante and Thurgate matching every midfield run that goes in, but even Costa Barbarouses and Krajev are coming in to help, and that's been key this afternoon or this evening as well.
Krajev for Carluccio. They've got numbers forward here this time. Oh, it's a disappointing pass, trying to pass their way right inside. Tonic. Victory fans trying to urge their side forward in a bit of a lull. Panazopoulos for Borello. He's caught. Virgos. Santos. It's a good ball. Velupale and Mata arriving in the middle. Santos taking on Tonic and no way past.
I'm not sure if that was the right option in the first place. Velupale was in, but in the end it was a great pass into Santos, who opened up the pitch and really had just one option here. Go one-on-one. Mata was asking for it, but he was outnumbered. He tried to drag it on the left foot. It's not working for the Victory at the moment.
Dorigo again short with Mata. Dorigo again. Oh, and the cross deep to the back post. Davidson's kept it alive. And the free kick. Well, Victory players, and I've got to concede myself as well. Not quite sure what that one was for at the back post.
Maybe just a bit of holding, tugging of the shirt, but yeah, it's been a difficult evening so far, just to try and create that one good chance. And the one from Mata and Virgos is exactly the carbon copy they're looking for, is to get a player in a wide area and play a quality pass into their strike force, and they didn't take that chance. And this is where we sit now. They're looking to try and create something similar.
Now we're just seeing down in front of us here at Amy Park, Steven Ugarkovic coming back from the Wanderers reserves, warming up. And he looks like he's going to be prepared to come into the contest soon. Esposito does well again. Genre for Mata. Lovely conservation of the ball under pressure from Thurgate and then Qual. Here he is again, Mata. Nice touch. Gets it back from Davidson. Looks up. Again, it's that little sliced cross that he does love so much that just couldn't get past the defender. Here he is again with Davidson. World Cup winner when he was at Valencia. Juan Mata, where he was an outstanding footballer before heading to Chelsea and then Manchester United. Injuries at Manchester United in the latter part of his career, putting the brakes on a little bit before that move to Japan, and now here to the A-League. Costa Barbarouses gets the jeers from the home fans. Well, he might as well. It's his goal that separates the two sides. It came just before the half hour from the penalty spot, his fourth of the season. And now Steven Ugarkovic, a defending champion with Melbourne City from last season, before returning home to Western Sydney.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to fly on the wall at the Western Sydney Wanderers camp to find out exactly why Steven Ugarkovic hasn't been in the side. And again, he's playing on that right-hand side, not being able to split the likes of Brillante and Thurgate, who has been excellent today, mind you.
Borello in on Dorigo. Play continues. Valupale. Mata back for Valupale. And Sarah can't get there. Davidson and Esposito just inviting the challenges from Aluqual. Davidson, Santos. He's done well. Here's Dorigo. Mata looking to make things happen. Ball over the top, too straight from Juan Mata that time.
Yeah, it's a really good line from the Western Sydney Wanderers, and really good defending from Brillante and Thurgate. Again, just dropping back and not allowing Juan Mata to get into that space. But the problem they have then is a Spaniard facing forward with time on the ball. But if he's not going to shoot from distance and he can't find one over the top, then there's not much else on for him.
Melbourne Victory looking for some attacking reinforcements, some fresh blood, fresh legs. Up front, Keegan Jelassic and Reno Piscopo as well. For the first time this season. Mata has done well. It's a good ball for Santos. Santos shoots! Great save. Lawrence Thomas at his near post. In fact, was it a great bit of defending? It's gone out for a goal kick. A little optical illusion there.
Well, that's the space and time we're talking about. If you give Juan Mata the opportunity to feed in somebody who's making a run forward, and it was Santos in this instance. I'm not sure who that took a piece of. It certainly looked like it took a deflection.
Referee coming to have a word to Lawrence Thomas to just say we're going to have to keep things moving. That's another player down in front of his former faithful, who returns to Amy Park with the captain's armband of arrival. Qual, great lead. Thurgate. Gersbach in A-League match number 50. The cross is not a bad one. Traore, here's Ugarkovic. Overlapping run, Carluccio. Back through Garkovic. And now Tonic. Tonic back. Velupele's lurking in the middle. They have to go all the way back to their goalkeeper. Now long, and they've just given it straight back. Davidson's ball has just returned the favour.
It would actually stop them from making so many runs forward, the Wanderers, if they just keep possession a little bit more. If somebody shows in that big hole they've got in that number 10 position, nobody's stepping forward. They don't have the energy to get forward because they're too busy defending, but when they keep going back and back and back, then you have a problem. With Santos, now Davidson. Wanderers happy enough to let Victory have the ball here. Jonro looking for a hard pass to try and find Mata. That's a good ball, Jonro for Burgos. Outside, Velupele. Velupele still, inside and out. Now Mata. It's Velupele's turn to give it away, Brandon Barello. Well, he's got the better of Dorigo, who was certainly looking to foul him, to put the brakes on there. Kraev looks up, no options ahead of him. Brillante with Carluccio, well played, Wanderers. They've stretched Victory, brought them back to their own final third, and held on to the ball. Yeah, really controlled. Well, I'd love to see that, especially from Brandon Barello. Again, just having so much energy this evening, getting forward and then making the right decision. Barello still goes back, takes a touch, drives it in hard towards Alu Kuol. Esposito again. Look at the space here for Mata. It's another ball that doesn't find its target. Yeah, it seems to be getting a little bit desperate right now, doesn't it? I think with Mata, you can't expect him to play a World Cup pass every single time. And generally speaking, for Melbourne Victory, that's where they've been deadly in the past, as that counter-attack, somebody getting on that final pass, or just seem like they're running out of legs a little bit with Santos and Velupele.
11 shots for Melbourne Victory so far, but only 2 on target in the game to date. One of those, a remarkable effort from Juan Mata. The referee has decided finally to allow these substitutions to take place. So Keegan Jurasic, and for the first time this season, Bruno Piscopo coming on, and it's Juan Mata and Santos making way. So it wasn't the best we've seen from Juan Mata this afternoon against his former club. So much written, so much said about this evening. And perhaps it's going to be another source for Melbourne Victory. Piscopo and Jurasic into the game to try and get them back on level terms.
I think that's a really good sub from Arthur Dillis, understanding the situation. And you're right, Robbie, but it was inches away from Mata having an assist late in the first half, and then could have easily had a goal in this game. And that's the difference sometimes in football. It's a game of inches, but for Juan Mata in that role, you would have thought he'd have a little bit more time and space, but you've got to give credit to the 2 midfielders of the Wanderers, Thurgate and Brillante this afternoon.
Kraev for Kuol, closed down by Jonro. Kraev gets it straight back again. He's got the better of Insera. Free kick, and with each free kick, with each substitution, the seconds tick over again. We've got just over 15 minutes left now, as Alu Kuol is the player to make way. A second substitution and a second window used by Alan Stajic. Looks as though Mishan Veluplay is coming to the left wing now. There's a foul again. Well, the free kicks are certainly starting to rack up at the moment as well, which will suit Western Sydney.
Well, let's not forget how the elimination final finished between these two sides last season. It became very spicy towards the end, and even more so after the final whistle. There's no love lost between these two clubs. And the question is now for Victory, how much do they want this? They've been in good positions the last couple of weeks, but it's Wanderers that want it more by the looks of this.
Great run, Tomjek, who then drags down Vergos when he lost the ball. Well, Thurgate is going to get himself in trouble here, refusing to give the ball back to Melbourne Victory. Piscopo keeping it alive. Davidson, good switch for Insera, had the sun in his eyes. Cicluna forward. Esposito, good challenge on Borello. Piscopo exchanging passes with Jonro. Veluplay now on this left wing. Looking for Piscopo. Traore will get there. His cross is not a bad one. That's cleared by Dylan Cicluna.
Shouts of VAR from the Victory supporters, and that's where the game is at in this final 15 minutes or so. And we've seen so many goals for Melbourne Victory late on in games. It looked as though Panazopoulos didn't see that one coming towards him, but look at the numbers they've got back. All those white shirts inside the box. It hasn't been pretty for the Wanderers, but they're good at holding on to leads. It's as simple as that.
Melbourne Victory have conceded 5 goals in the last 15 minutes of matches. It's more than any other side in the competition. Here's Veluplay. The big question is, can they score one? If they can't, it's 3 points for the Western Sydney Wanderers. And a first defeat in 5 for Victory. Here's Davidson. Alan Stajic trying to get his side to keep their shape. Davidson's ball overhit. Veluplay can't get there.
The cross that came in from Davidson just before this passage of play was superb. I can't believe that somebody in a navy blue shirt wasn't running onto it across the front posts, expecting that that delivery was coming in. You can't be waiting and hoping it's going to go off the shoulder. I think for Nikos Vergos, he's got to go and make it happen.
Borello, despite the whistles and despite the warning that Lawrence Thomas just had, is still telling Lawrence Thomas to try and take things slow. Piscopo, it's a good ball for Jelacic, just forces him wide. Plenty of Victory forward, the cross in, just behind Nikos Vergos in Sarah's header. Then Cicluna launches it towards the halfway line. Keegan Jelacic again. Well, that was a pretty swift and incisive attack from Victory. They need more like that. Davidson, Traore. Jonro around the corner. Piscopo. Veluplay, Piscopo. Can't quite get there. Kraev with Borello. Garkovic, oh, it's a good ball up the line. Kraev looking to race away, needs support in the middle. Or does he? Božidar Kraev, still going. Kraev! Great save for Shawski. The biggest save of his very, very young A-League career. But it might be one that saves the points for his side.
Yeah, that's a huge save from Jack Wachowski. And he stepped forward here, Kraev, with a lot of work still to do. Been running all over the place, having to defend. He just couldn't get it back onto his right foot. That's what he wanted to do. He couldn't hit it on the left because Davidson was there and the protection to try and get the shot away. But Wachowski, that is a top-level save in the A-League. He'll remember that one for a long time.
Down in front of those Wanderers supporters who are believing. Again, their side looking to lift themselves off the foot of the table. Panasopoulos. Back post and beyond everyone. Let's head back down to Jake Barker-Daish on the sidelines. Jake.
Well, Robbie, the introduction of Reno Piscopo, a very big moment for him. He has been battling with injuries and fitness for the last 5 months. This is a real moment for him to get back out there. The quality he can bring to this team is a real bonus for Melbourne Victory. He's almost been a forgotten man, so a real boost of depth for Melbourne Victory.
It is. He has the quality. Perhaps we haven't seen him fulfill all that potential that he did as a youngster in Italy as a youth player at the likes of Inter Milan and Lazio, where a huge career was beckoning. And there's no doubt the talent is there. He's a very silky, elegant footballer on his day, capable of scoring a fantastic goal as well. So is this young man, Matt Grimaldi. We saw him do it in the derby a couple of weeks ago. He's coming on for Nishan Velupillay.
Still building those minutes, Nishan Velupillay. Was expecting at some point in this month to see the best of him. He's just getting those legs back in those minutes, and it's just a chance now for the Wanderers to get some information as Lawrence Thomas is down.
Now he's... Well, referee is saying no need for any medical attention for Lawrence Thomas, who's back to his feet, but it has given the entire Wanderers team the chance to come across and get some water while everyone waits. And we're meant to be having a throw-in on the far side of the field.
I'm not sure he's okay, Robbie. Lawrence Thomas. I'm not sure if this is just a tactic or he genuinely has a little hamstring from that long ball going forward. And, well, from that reaction, you don't wait that long to feel your hamstring, I don't think.
Well, now the throw is taken. He's still out there. Alan Stajic and his assistants are absolutely furious. Hands on head for Alan Stajic on the sidelines at the moment, as here come Victory again. Piscopo, good ball for Burgos. We'll have to wait and see if he's onside or off. Carluccio with the clearance. He was offside, Nikos Burgos.
Yeah, it's just great positioning from Carluccio, and in that offside position, a good line in the end from the Wanderers, but he wasn't to know. Carluccio, that right back, has done really well this evening.
And it's Panasopoulos who's going to take the free kick now, which is outside the box, but we did see him take a couple of goal kicks in the first half as well, so perhaps there is some issue for Lawrence Thomas. Jordan Holmes is actually doing a fairly gentle warm-up in the Wanderers technical area, as well as Steven Ugarkovic with the volley from distance. A comfortable one for Wachowski. 7 minutes left plus stoppage time. Oh, and that's poor from Davidson.
And doesn't he know it? It's just the urgency missing a little bit at the moment. They're running out of energy. You can't blame them. It's been a sticky, smoky evening here in Melbourne. I wonder if that's had something to do with it for both sets of players, but there's only been one side that's wanted it more. It's what it's coming down to in the A-League, and it's an old adage about who wants it more, but it's as simple as that. You can see the Wanderers just wanted it more. They needed it more.
Well, it's not getting any easier for Melbourne Victory at the moment. Adelaide are next away next Saturday, then Monday the 26th of January. Sydney FC here at Amy Park in the second Big Blue of the season. So a couple of huge fixtures coming up. Then it's away to the Mariners and the Phoenix before back here again against Brisbane Roar. Panasopoulos, long throw, Esposito helped on by Jonro, back in by Josh Brillante.
Even moments like that, going and winning the next ball that comes in, and he's been outstanding on the park tonight, Josh Brillante. Getting forward, yes, okay, it goes away, but he's first to the ball. He saw that coming. He wanted to be first to the ball.
Moshorski long, one in the air by Virgos. Carluccio not the most convincing, Tonic neither. But Victory can't capitalise. They've had more of the ball, 62, 63% to just 37. But just 2 shots on target against 4 on target for Western Sydney. They've had more shots overall, more corners, more territory, more ball, but they haven't been able to do much with it. Esposito with Jelacic. Now Dorigo. Insera. Wanderers defending stoutly. The ball in from Grimaldi. Jonro and Carluccio clears. Wanderers again feeling there was a push in the back.
I think what's missing this evening as well is just the industry of Jason Davidson going up and down that left side, and they've had to plug him in there in the middle of defence, and Adama Traore getting back those minutes in his legs, but there hasn't been that outlet or that threat for Melbourne Victory down the left-hand side.
Ball in, headed away. Josh Brillante there leading the Paramount Plus player index for the moment. Working tirelessly in midfield. Here's Jelacic. Drives it in hard this time. Cleared by Panasopoulos. He's had a good game back in the middle for Wanderers. Davidson. Victory preparing their 2 final substitutions. Grimaldi. Davidson again. Kraev has defended well in midfield. Jonro. Dorigo. Insera. For Jelacic. Oh, the pass is hit too hard. It's just been that quality he's been missing today.
The timing's been missing. That final pass, that final run. It's like they're not on the same wavelength, and you wonder why that has occurred.
Double change coming. Josh Insera making way, and so is Denny Jonro. So Jing Rees, what a time to score his first Melbourne Victory goal in the A-League. As he comes on, Josh Insera makes way, and it's a first ever A-League match for Kane Razmovsky, the 20-year-old. An A-League debut for him. It's been a long wait. He made his first team debut as a sub in the Australia Cup playoff match in Darwin in July 2023, 2.5 years ago. Now, the Monash University undergraduate is an A-League player. What does the referee say there? Nothing. Don't forget, 50 days until the AFC Women's Asian Cup in Australia. What a month that's going to be, and hopefully a glorious month for the Matildas, as they will hope to win the Continental Crown for just the 2nd time. There'll also be plenty of A-League action all throughout that month. It's going to be an absolute football feast for fans of the round ball. Jing Rees gets there ahead of Carluccio. Traore. Davidson. Ugarkovic defends well, stays on his feet, doesn't commit, and is there ready for that next challenge.
Really good from Ugarkovic, but again, the ball not sticking. Final pass, and it needs a delivery, a good delivery in here.
Davidson's ball blocked by Kraev. Melbourne Victory have made more passes in this match than they have in any game this season. It tells you how much they've been knocking at the door, but perhaps also how sterile their possession has been, how they've failed to open up this Wanderers side. Jelassic again. More good defending. That was Cicluna. They've got 4 defensive midfielders across their midfield there. Thurgate, Brillante, Cicluna and Ugarkovic.
And you don't mind to see that, being 1-0 up. Well, the question for Alan Stajic would have been if they went 1-0 down. But that's not the case.
And since the numbers are scarce on the ground in defence for both sides at the moment, with the AFC Under-23 Asian Cup and with players leaving and annulling their contracts, it's a first appearance of the season for Philip Kankar, the former Wanderer and then Newcastle Jet, and a second appearance of the season for Alat Abdul Rahman, who comes on to replace Brandon Borello up front. Abdul Rahman. His brief will be a largely defensive one, despite his position higher up the field. And it's hit the referee only just. Still.
Well, I think Carluccio went a little bit more there. They've got to try and slow it down because Victory are getting desperate. This could be the last couple of passages of play. And it hasn't really worked going from this side on the left-hand side to Adama Traore.
Dorigo taking too long. Kraev again. Oh, and he had an easier option in Cicluna. He went for the difficult one. Here is Traore again. 3 minutes left. Jing Rees. Crowd want a free kick off Kankar. Davidson again, the cross whipped in, near post was Virgos. Lawrence Thomas with the leap to claim, no signs of that hamstring strain.
No, and top level defending from guess who again? Anthony Pantzopoulos. The ball bouncing is so difficult to deal with as a defender. He just did not react and put his hand in the way. It was fantastic.
Thurgate. You can hear the cries from the Wanderers players and bench for Alat to make a run, but he's out there just to try and attack the ball. Here's Jing Rees against Kankar. Piscopo. His cross, back post. Jelassic arriving, the header back towards Nikos Virgos and claimed again by Lawrence Thomas. In fact, it was Kane Razmovsky.
Well, it looks so good from one side to the other. And Lawrence Thomas again up to the task, being able to just put out those fires and make everybody feel calm in that back line for the Western Sydney Wanderers. And the Victory, well, this could be their last chance.
Traore still. Jing Rees again. The crowd trying to get behind Jing Rees against Kankar. It's a throw. Adama Traore with Piscopo. First came back for him. Oh, the ball in, easily dealt with by Cicluna. And now we really are getting into the last chance saloon. 90 seconds left for Melbourne Victory to try and find an equaliser. The bouncing ball, Kankar. Piscopo back in. Virgos gets front position and blazes away at the near post. It wasn't the most confident, comprehensive defending from the Wanderers that time.
There's a little chance there to get something from this game. Again, Piscopo at the heart of it, getting in there. And that's a really good look for Nikos Virgos. And you can't say that he's been starved for opportunities this evening. That first one from Waimaata late on in the half, and then that one right at the end. It could have been a different story for Melbourne Victory.
They go long. Well, still the Wanderers looking to make a nuisance of themselves right to the final whistle. It's now or never for Melbourne Victory. Davidson with Traore. Oh, it's missed by Carluccio. Throw goes Victory's way. They need it in the box. Davidson, cross whipped in. The header! Oh! Nikos Virgos. What a finish that would have been. They left it late. In the end, they've probably left it too late.
Well, that was the moment, and that was the delivery. Right in there from Davidson, hung it at the far post this time.
And it's all over. The Western Sydney Wanderers have their first away win of the season. They have put a stop to that run of 5 without victory in the A-League. They have lifted themselves, provisionally at least, off the foot of the table. And Melbourne Victory, well, we mentioned it right off the top of the programme, the form side in the competition, scoring goals for fun. But in the league this year, we know that anything, absolutely anything, is possible. The Wanderers have proven it. We'll only know in the next couple of weeks as they take on Newcastle and Perth before the derby against Sydney FC, whether they have turned the corner or whether it's another false dawn. But certainly they can celebrate this evening. From Amy Park, it has finished Melbourne Victory 0, Western Sydney Wanderers 1. Well, let's have a look at the Harvey Norman highlights. Eric Partaloo. And it all started here with that penalty just before the half hour.
We weren't short of drama this evening. That first half handball from Santos